name is Heiress. I am 34 years old, and the last place anyone expected me to be was the back row of my brother's promotion party at the Hilton Miami Beach. The air in the ballroom was thick with the scent of money and expensive floral arrangements, a suffocating atmosphere of forced congratulations. I sat rigid in my cheap dress, the fabric already feeling itchy against skin accustomed to rough industrial denim. My brother Quinn, 29, the golden boy, was right there on stage. He leaned into the mic, his voice amplified to fill the cavernous room, carrying that practiced, entitled sneer he reserved for anyone he deemed beneath him. He was basking in the adoration of 80 guests, a carefully curated audience of investors, family friends, and hangers-on. "Success takes vision," he declared, pausing for effect, his eyes sweeping the crowd. They stopped on me, a deliberate, cruel pause. "Not everyone has it. Some people are just dumb, only fit for factory work." 80 guests laughed. The sound was a sharp physical blow that made my ears ring. My parents, Walt and Gail Nash, stepped forward with a silver tray. On it rested a folder and a set of car keys, paperwork handing him management of an $85 million Hawaii resort, plus the keys to a brand new Audi. Dad beamed, his face a caricature of paternal pride. "We're proud of you, son, unlike certain others who only embarrass the family." I sat frozen, the blood pounding in my temples, the heat rushing to my face. This was exactly why I hadn't wanted to come, why Quinn had texted me not to. I was the punchline, the cautionary tale necessary to make his victory shine brighter. Then a miracle happened, or maybe it was fate in a charcoal suit. A stranger slipped into the seat beside me, moving with the quiet efficiency of a ghost. He was an older man, maybe early 70s, with a face that looked like it had seen too many closing arguments. He pressed a thick, sealed envelope into my hand, the paper surprisingly warm. His whisper was low, firm, and cut through the ambient noise like a scalpel. "Time to show them who you really are." He was gone before I could blink, vanished into the shadows by the side wall. I clutched the envelope, its unexpected weight grounding me. Who I really am. For years, that was the person who rolled out of bed at 5:30 every morning in my one-bedroom apartment. I started the 45-minute drive in my beat-up Honda Civic, the engine coughing like it's been smoking for years. But it gets me there, to the factory in Hialeah. I punched in at 6 sharp, pulled on steel-toed boots, and spent the next 10 hours at my station, eyes glued to a conveyor belt that never stops. Hundreds of circuit boards slide past every shift. My job is to spot the microscopic flaws before they ship out. Miss one, and an entire batch gets recalled. The $45,000 a year keeps the lights on and the fridge stocked with leftovers. Blackmail that low, constant salary and the endless, aching physicality of the work were exactly what my family held in contempt. Across town, Quinn woke up whenever he felt like it in his Brickell penthouse, rolling into the boardroom around 9, coffee in hand, barking orders at interns who make more in a month than I do in 3. His $300,000 salary, plus bonuses, stock options, and whatever perks came with being the golden child, was a universe away from my fluorescent-lit reality. They saw the money, the location, the title. They didn't see the work, the sacrifice, or the simple competence that kept the world running. But they also didn't know about the methane alarm. Last year, during the night shift, the methane alarm screamed. A pipe had cracked near the loading dock. Gas, hissing out fast enough to turn the whole place into a bomb. Most guys froze. I didn't think. I just ran, slammed the emergency shutoff valve, and held it down until the gauge dropped to 0. 47 co-workers walked out alive that night. The company management, desperate to bury the near disaster and avoid an OSHA investigation, installed new sensors, and gave me a plaque that read, Safety Champion. It was bolted above my station, gathering dust, seen only by the shift supervisors. But the real rewards were the thank you letters that piled up in a shoebox under my bed. Handwritten notes from people I barely knew. One guy wrote, "You gave me another Christmas with my daughter." Another said, "I owe you my life." Simple words that weighed more than any bonus Quinn brags about. A week ago, the ivory invitation to this gala arrived, formal and embossed with the family crest. Celebrating Quinn's promotion to CEO, it read, "Family presence required." They only wanted me there as the punchline. Quinn's preemptive text, "Don't come to the party, it's embarrassing," had only fueled my decision to defy him. My Aunt Donna Nash, Dad's older sister who lived down in Tampa, had driven up for the night. A straight-talking emergency room nurse, she was my only lifeline. She spotted me first and waved me over, giving me a quick, firm hug. "Go if you want, but don't let them walk over you," she told me earlier. As Quinn finished his insult on stage, the laughter died down. Dad, Walt Nash, joined him up front, arm around Quinn's shoulders. Mom, Gail Nash, followed with the velvet box and the thick folder, revealing the glossy photos of the Hawaiian resort. "To celebrate your new role as CEO," Dad announced, his voice booming, "we're transferring management of the $85 million Hawaii resort to you." Mom, dangling the Audi keys like a lure, leaned into the mic next. "We're so proud of you, son. Unlike certain others who only embarrass the family." Whispers floated from nearby tables. "That's the sister, right? The one who fixes machines." A chuckle. Donna's hand tightened on my knee under the table, her grip firm, offering silent support. I felt the weight of every gaze, the room shrinking. Then came the final, brutal act of theater. Dad pulled a single, pre-printed form from his jacket pocket. "Heiress, come up here. Sign this waiver of inheritance rights. Make everything official for your brother." The room quieted. I stood slowly, legs heavy, and walked the endless aisle between the tables. Guests parted, some smirking, others avoiding eye contact. My heartbeat echoed loudly in the silence. On stage, Dad thrust the paper forward. The waiver demanded relinquishing any claim to assets until final probate, effectively handing control to Quinn immediately. Quinn smirked beside him, arms crossed. Mom adjusted her necklace, looking anywhere but at me. I took the pen, the cold metal jarring against my skin. The signature line stared back, blank and accusing. I lowered the pen, my hand trembling. The tip touched paper, and a bead of ink bled out, smearing across my thumb. It was in that pregnant second, with the ink still wet, that the side door behind the stage creaked open. Ted Rice, the man from the back row, stepped into the ballroom, carrying an old, beaten leather briefcase. Heads turned slowly, then faster as recognition flickered across a few faces. Ted moved with purpose. Dad's face tightened into a mask of pure irritation. Mom's hand flew to her pearls, twisting them nervously. Quinn shifted his weight, the Audi keys suddenly feeling heavy. "Excuse the interruption," Ted said, his voice a low, steady baritone that instantly commanded the room. "I'm Ted Rice, former attorney for Eleanor Nash." Eleanor Nash, my grandmother. She was the true founder of the family fortune, the sharp-minded matriarch who had died a decade ago. Her memory was a carefully managed ghost in this house. Ted placed the briefcase on an empty table and clicked it open with 3 deliberate snaps. He pulled out a thick folder stamped with a notary seal dated exactly 10 years ago. Mrs. Nash had this will notarized in my office the week before her final hospital stay, Ted explained, holding the document high. The original was delivered to the family as required, but it was destroyed shortly after the funeral. burned in the backyard fireplace, according to 2 household staff who signed affidavits. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Dad's jaw clenched so hard, the muscle pulsed. Mom whispered something urgent to Quinn, who shook his head violently, refusing to accept the shift in momentum. Ted lifted a tablet from the briefcase and tapped the screen. A video began to play, projected onto the large backdrop where Quinn's promotion banner still hung. Grandma Eleanor appeared, seated in her favorite armchair, frail but sharp-eyed. "If you're watching this," she said, her voice clear despite the years, "it means I'm gone, and someone's trying to twist my wishes." Her eyes, full of a terrifying, knowing compassion, seemed to look directly at me. "Walt and Gail always saw the balance sheet, never the character," Eleanor continued, her voice gaining strength. "They praised Quinn's flash and dismissed Heiress's substance. But I watched the factory reports. I saw the quiet decisions. Heiress has saved lives, real lives, not just numbers on a screen. She gets everything. No conditions, no delays." The clip ended abruptly. The room froze in stunned silence. Donna shot to her feet, pointing directly at Dad. "Stop this! That's Mom's real will! You can't pretend it doesn't exist!" Ted raised a hand to calm Donna, then turned back to the crowd, the open folder held high. "This certified copy, filed with the court the same day as the original, transfers the entire $65 million estate to Heiress Nash." He paused, letting the figure sink in. "Explicitly because she saved 47 lives in that factory incident last year. No interim management, no waivers. Final and binding." Quinn lunged forward a step. "This is fake," he yelled, his face crimson. Dad grabbed his arm, pulling him back. Mom's face drained of color, and she clutched the podium edge. Investors near the front stood up, murmuring nervously about due diligence. The coercion penalty was a masterstroke, Ted explained, reading the clause that activated if anyone forced a signature under duress. Each word landed like a hammer. "Eleanor knew what you did, Heiress," Ted whispered to me across the podium lights. "She saw the OSHA reports, the letters from those workers. This is yours. Always was." Unborn didn't wait for silence. He snapped the briefcase open again and pulled out a 3-inch thick stack of documents bound with red cord, dropping it with a heavy thud. "Let's talk evidence," he said, his voice carrying to the back of the room, now electric with anticipation. The top page was the official OSHA incident report, 8 pages of diagrams, witness statements, and my name circled in red marker. He then fanned out 47 handwritten thank you letters from the workers I saved, all notarized copies for the court, even photos of their families in plastic sleeves. Confiscated. But the real gut punch came next. Ted slid over bank records, crisp printouts with highlighted lines. $2 million funneled anonymously into factory safety upgrades, new ventilation systems, advanced sensors, mandatory training. Funds transferred from a donor-advised fund linked to Heiress through tax filings she never claimed credit for. This evidence was the missing puzzle piece, the deeper layer of the betrayal. I had bought those basic $5,000 fire extinguishers from Donna because the company budget suddenly couldn't cover it. I had assumed corporate penny pinching. But Quinn and Dad hadn't just pinched pennies. They had looted a dedicated safety fund meant for vital upgrades. My act of heroism had been necessary only because of their criminal negligence. After the incident, using the little money I had, I started funneling small, untraceable amounts toward real structural safety improvements. My silent way of fixing their ongoing fraud. Ted then lifted a framed plaque. National Workplace Safety Award, presented to Heiress Nash last April in Washington, D.C. for exemplary courage. No one in my family had known. The final set of documents were 3 glossy printouts of Quinn's LinkedIn posts. Quinn at black tie charity galas, posing with oversized checks. He was the paid keynote speaker at each event, Ted said, his voice flat. $50,000 total, wired directly to his personal account within 48 hours. Attached invoices showed the charities received 0 after administrative fees and Quinn's travel reimbursements. One email chain revealed Quinn negotiating higher rates while promising the money would change lives in his pitch deck. He had made a career and a fortune not just on arrogance, but on pure, performative fraud. Crimson rose again, pulling a folded paper from her purse. 2 years ago, Heiress borrowed $5,000 from me, she announced, unfolding the IOU, handwritten on plain notebook paper. The $50 weekly repayments were checked off meticulously. Cash, no bank transfer, for 20 industrial fire extinguishers the factory budget wouldn't cover after a cost-cutting meeting. She held it high. She paid every cent from her paycheck, never missed one. She was paying for the safety their $2 million was supposed to cover. Minimized face went purple. Mom clutched her throat. Quinn's fists clenched. A venture capitalist in the front row stood and asked loudly, "Does the board know about these discrepancies?" Security edged closer, but stopped when Ted raised a hand. "Every piece here is filed with the probate court," he confirmed. "The coercion clause activates immediately upon attempted signature under duress, which we just witnessed." He gestured toward the waiver, still on the podium, the ink smear a permanent witness. Quinn exploded forward, voice cracking. "She's just a factory worker. She doesn't deserve it." At that moment, the doors burst open again. Glenn Pike, the company's chief financial officer, rushed in, face ashen, a tablet clutched to his chest. He beelined for the stage, nearly tripping over a chair. "Emergency board vote just passed," he panted, swiping the screen with a trembling finger. "Coercion clause triggered. $18 million contingency fund transfers to Heiress Nash, effective immediately." The projector flashed the wire confirmation, account numbers in bold, timestamps in green, digital signatures from 3 independent trustees. Dad lunged for the tablet with both hands. "You can't do this!" Glenn yanked it back out of reach. "Assets frozen across all subsidiaries. Independent forensic audit starts at dawn. No access until cleared." Quinn's promotion banner flickered off the backdrop, replaced by a red, "Access Suspended" banner from the bank portal in real time. Hawaii Resort Management contract revoked. Audi title repossessed. Repo trucks outside the valet area right now. Quinn screamed, charging at Glenn like a bull. Security tackled him mid-stride, pinning his arms. "Fraudulent expense claims totaling over $200,000, Glenn read from the tablet, scrolling fast. "Board voted unanimous termination for cause. No severance, no non-compete payout." Mom collapsed into a chair, sobbing into her hands. Dad stood frozen, mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. Donna wrapped her arms around me tight, pulling me close enough that I could smell her lavender perfume. I let the pen drop from my fingers, watching it roll across the podium and leave one final ink splatter on the waiver. "I don't need this family anymore," I said, my voice steady for the first time all night. "We're done." The following 3 months were a maelstrom of legal briefings, forensic accounting, and media silence, orchestrated flawlessly by Ted Rice and his team. The initial $18 million contingency fund, the money the board legally owed to the estate, estate due to Quinn's fraud was merely the opening salvo. The key to the whole operation, Ted revealed during one of our late-night meetings, was my grandmother, Eleanor. Eleanor, a woman who had built the empire through sheer, ruthless intelligence, had long suspected her son Walt of having shallow roots and her daughter-in-law Gail of having a frivolous temperament. She recognized early on that their greed was a vulnerability. 10 years before, when she was terminally ill, Eleanor hired Ted, a quiet, meticulous lawyer whom Walt never knew about, to draft a unique will. She had initially left the bulk of the estate to a blind trust, with instructions that it would only pass fully to a designated heir if that heir demonstrated exceptional character, selflessness, and the capacity to place the welfare of others above personal gain. When the original will was delivered to the family, Walt and Gail, convinced that Quinn, with his high-flying deals and public profile, was the chosen one, had only skimmed it. They saw the provision about character and assumed it was a formality. But when a rival trust tried to challenge the will, forcing the family to produce the original, Walt saw his opportunity. He knew the character clause was too vague, so he and Gail, fueled by arrogance and a belief in their own impunity, literally burned the original document in their backyard fireplace, making it appear as if the family had settled the matter privately, allowing Quinn's success to be their living proof of the intended beneficiary. What they didn't know was that Eleanor, anticipating their hubris, had drafted two things: the certified copy Ted possessed, and a separate, meticulously detailed codicil, which was hidden inside a sealed safe deposit box that only Ted and a bank trustee could access upon a specific legal trigger. The failure to produce the original will and the documented attempt to coerce an immediate heir, me, into signing away rights. The codicil was the final blade. It redefined the exceptional character clause explicitly. It required documented heroism or self-sacrifice within the last 5 years, specifically referencing the saving of human life or significant personal expenditure for the well-being of the less fortunate. It then named me, Heiress Nash, as the sole heir, specifically referencing the OSHA report and the community thank you letters she had meticulously collected through a private investigator who had been tracking my low-profile factory life for years. My grandmother had turned her will into a trap, designed to reward my quiet integrity and punish their loud corruption. The forensic audit Glenn Pike launched wasn't just about Quinn's fraud. It was mandated by the codicil to expose the family's financial negligence that nearly cost the lives of those factory workers. The audit revealed that the $2 million safety fund I suspected had been diverted by Quinn and Walt to prop up a failing offshore shell company. The $5,000 I borrowed from Donna for fire extinguishers was directly traceable to a moment of crisis caused by my family's direct financial malfeasance. My revenge was not just satisfying, it was an act of corporate and moral justice. Walt and Gail, stripped of access to their funds and facing legal scrutiny for willful destruction of a testamentary document and accessory to corporate fraud, were forced into a humiliating retreat. They sold the Brickell penthouse to cover their spiraling legal fees that only mounted as their attempts to fight the inheritance were crushed by Ted's mountain of notarized evidence. They became shadows, renting a small, forgettable one-bedroom apartment in Kendall, their lives reduced to cracked tile and the smell of community pool chlorine. A fittingly beige end for lives lived in such vivid, selfish color. The Hawaii resort, the final piece of their crumbling empire, went to creditors after the bank seized control. No more boardrooms, no more galas, no more private jets. As for Quinn, the consequences were immediate and public. The board's unanimous vote for termination meant not only a loss of his job, but the immediate liquidation of his stock options and the revocation of all severance and non-compete payouts, leaving him financially naked. The media, which had once worshipped him as the fintech disruptor, now circled him as a charity fraudster. He eventually found himself where he always feared, stocking shelves at a warehouse in Doral for $15 an hour, early shifts starting at 5 a.m. He scanned barcodes and loaded trucks, avoiding eye contact with former colleagues who whispered about the gala scandal whenever he passed. He was experiencing the kind of labor he had so callously insulted, a poetic, physically demanding justice that his body was ill-prepared for. 3 months later, I stood before the new Nash Safety Foundation Training Center in Orlando. The sign, in bold steel letters above wide glass doors, was a monument not to wealth, but to ethics. Inside, instructors, many of them my old co-workers from Hialeah, certified 1,500 factory workers that week alone. Hands-on drills, hazard simulations using virtual reality headsets, emergency protocols practiced in mock assembly lines. My team ran the program, funded entirely by the contingency payout that had triggered the takeover. No press conferences, no ribbon cuttings, just results. Accident rates dropped 28% in the first quarter, according to state reports. I bought a 2-bedroom condo in Coral Gables, a quiet street lined with royal poinciana trees, a mango tree in the courtyard, and an ocean view from the second-floor balcony. Mornings started with black coffee on the patio while reading industry journals, not financial ones, but safety and engineering reviews. Evenings with long walks along the bay where sailboats drifted under pink skies. The factory jobs stayed behind. I consulted remotely for safety upgrades nationwide, traveling only when needed. Aunt Donna drove up every Sunday from Tampa in her old Honda Accord. We cooked pasta with fresh basil from my balcony planter, watched old movies, and talked about everything except the past. No calls from the others, no texts, no accidental run-ins. Silence became the new normal, and I welcomed it. It was the silence of hard-won peace, the quiet satisfaction of the long-term planner. I leaned on the balcony rail at sunset, the waves crashing below against the seawall. My grandmother had taught me that true power wasn't found in what you inherited, but in what you built, and that the strongest steel is always forged in the heat of a crisis. Quinn and my parents had spent their lives proving that money can buy anything but class. I proved that when you use your power, not for spite, but for integrity, the outcome isn't just revenge, it's a foundation. Prosecuting can't buy conscience, but conscience backed by a good lawyer and a few $1 million can certainly buy justice. And in the end, justice tasted much sweeter than any Hawaiian sunset my brother would never see.